They stole money from schools and hospitals. They stole roads and bridges. They stole mountains, rivers, and futures. And yet the country is still standing. Before you judge, before you scroll, know this story is not just about corruption. It is about survival. It is about a people who refused to disappear, even when the powerful tried to erase them. And if you stay till the end, you will see why. After everything stolen, after every life ruined, the Philippines did not die. You will understand the secret that keeps a nation alive, even when darkness surrounds it. They did not knock the country down in one night. They drained it slowly, quietly, while everyone was distracted. Not with guns, but with papers, signatures, handshakes, promises that were never kept. Money meant for schools vanished. Funds for hospitals disappeared. Road projects were paid with borrowed money, but only crumbs reached the people. They learned early, steal too much at once, and revolt will rise. So they stole a little every year, small enough to hide, big enough to hurt. Over decades, corruption became invisible, fear became normal, silence became survival. Journalists were warned, whistleblowers disappeared. Activists were silenced in ways that left no proof. History books were rewritten, and truth was polished into lies. Villains became heroes, thieves became saviors, and the country watched itself change on television, but could not reach the remote. The streets told another story. Children selling candy at traffic lights, parents working multiple jobs that barely paid enough, graduates leaving home for other countries, millions of families sending money back to survive. Every goodbye at the airport was a wound no doctor could heal. Meanwhile, politicians' families grew stronger. Positions were passed down like inheritance. Politics became bloodline, not service. They called it leadership, but it behaved like a syndicate. They manipulated banks, bribed judges, delayed justice, sold land that was not theirs, collected foreign loans that never reached the people, and spent money meant for the nation on yachts, private jets, mansions. Meanwhile, the people carried the nation from below. When disasters came, and they always came, help was late or missing. So neighbors became rescue teams, strangers became family, shared rice became survival. In towns destroyed by typhoons, mothers rebuilt homes with bare hands. Fathers worked multiple jobs, carrying water, repairing roofs, feeding children. Grandparents raised grandchildren alone. They were exhausted. They were broken, but they refused to disappear. And while the shadows stole everything above, life carried on below. Young people still dreamed, even while leaving their homes to work abroad. Artists painted murals on crumbling walls. Children played basketball on cracked courts. Singers sang in alleys, in hope, in pain, in protest, because the strength of this nation was never in its government. It was in the people. But this is not a story only of endurance. It is also a story of fear, of betrayal from those trusted most. Teachers who were supposed to guide sometimes taught lies to protect themselves. Doctors who were supposed to heal were underpaid and overworked. Judges who were supposed to deliver justice delayed verdicts to benefit powerful families. And the people, desperate to survive, learned to live in the shadows. Stories grew in whispers. Neighbors warned neighbors. Parents warned children, "You must watch, you must remember, but do not speak too loud." And the politicians, they watched, controlled, manipulated. Some smiled in public, some stared with cold eyes in private. Some believed they could own a nation because they could bend laws, twist facts, erase history. Years passed. The next generation saw the cracks widen. They saw wealth being hoarded, education failing, hospitals collapsing, families leaving. And yet the country refused to fall. Why? Because even when money disappeared, humanity appeared. Even when the leaders failed, communities rose. Even when fear grew, courage whispered in hidden places. There were farmers who pooled their small savings to rebuild schools. Street vendors who gave away meals to children they did not know. Families who refused to abandon elderly neighbors during floods. Villagers who saved lives with handmade boats when no official help arrived. Bayanihan, the old spirit, carrying each other without asking for payment. This is the secret the world rarely sees. The Philippines survived not because corruption ended, not because the thieves vanished, but because people refused to vanish. And yet darkness remains. The system is still heavy. The shadows are still there, watching, controlling, pulling strings. But the people, they still speak in quiet ways. They still hope in small ways. They still fight, sometimes silently, sometimes loudly. Every child educated despite broken schools. Every sick person healed despite overcrowded hospitals. Every meal shared despite poverty. These are victories no headline can capture. The country still breathes. Not tall, not proud all the time, but alive. Not because it was spared, but because its people refused to surrender. Even in this darkness, one truth shines. The Philippines may be bruised, exhausted, silenced, but it has not been broken. And that is the most dangerous thing of all for those who believe they own everything. A nation that survives this much eventually remembers its strength. And when it does, the darkness will not win. It only reveals how bright the people always were. Stay with me till the end, and you will see the moment when hope rises like fire, when courage that seemed gone shines in the streets, when the people reclaim what was theirs, not in gold, not in buildings, but in the spirit that can never be stolen. And you will understand why, after all the pain, the theft, the lies, the country did not fall. Before we end, let me say this clearly. The Philippines is more than the pain you just heard. It is more than corruption, more than stolen money, more than broken systems. The Philippines is a country built on heart, on family, on community, on people who smile even when life is heavy, people who help even when they have little, people who stand up again and again no matter how many times they are pushed down. It is a place where neighbors become rescue teams, where songs rise after storms, where basketball courts exist even when roads are broken, where laughter survives in the middle of struggle, where hope is quiet but stubborn. This country is not perfect, it is wounded, but it is alive, and its greatest power has never been politicians or buildings or money. Its greatest power has always been its people. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it made you feel something, then this channel is for you, because here on Allview Philippines, we tell stories that are often ignored, voices that are often overlooked, and lives that deserve to be seen. And before you go, I want you to watch my last video, the story of an underrated fighter, counted out by everyone, facing a more experienced opponent named Miguel, a fight where skill was not the only weapon, and heart changed everything. That story will surprise you, and it connects deeply to what you just watched. If you enjoy stories like this, stories of strength, resilience, and people rising against the odds, subscribe to Allview Philippines. It helps the channel grow, and it helps these stories reach more people who need to hear them. Thank you for staying with me, thank you for listening, and thank you for seeing the Philippines beyond the surface. See you in a minute. Cheers.